Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll be talking to two national thought leaders when it comes to fashion and design. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I have to confess, I have no fashion sense or design sense. That's why I married up Victoria Sneed, the diva of Dallas, is my wife. She's also the head of marketing for Highland Park Village, and she surrounds herself with some really smart people. A couple of them are in studio today, Cody Ellison and Ken Valencia from Home on Bishop. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, Jeff.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with your backgrounds. For the people who don't know Home on Bishop, you now have 4 shops. We'll start with you, Cody.
Yeah, so my career, I've always been into textiles, things I want to talk about the hand, how they feel, how they make us, how we're comforted by things in our home. So I designed bedding for a local Dallas company. We were in 5,000 brick and mortar stores. It was just it's still such a neat experience to be able to go into someone's home and see my bedding in their house.
Okay, how about you, Ken?
So I'm the fashion part of the businesses, and Cody's probably heard this 1,000 times, but I'm going to tell you the story because it's funny. I knew when I was 10 years old that fashion was in my blood. And for me, it was about how it makes you feel, and that's my motto. It's not always about the way you look. It's about the way it makes you feel. And so when I was 10 years old, I had this black turtleneck and these purple bell bottoms that I loved, that made me feel so cool. And I would sneak into the garage and wear that every day. And the teacher called my mother and said, listen, you got to change this kid's up. You can't send him to school in the same thing every day. So that's what I knew. So my real career in fashion started with Donna Karan. I was with Donna for 11 years, and I had the West Coast, and then I moved to New York City. And with Donna, that's where I really learned the relationship between the fabric and the body. And that's really what it's about. And everyone always asks, Donna, why do you always do black? And she would answer, because you notice the person, you notice how they feel in the clothing, and not so much the way they look. Then you notice the garment afterwards. And I think that has remained with me. And really that's what I think we bring to the clothing when we started our own clothing line 5 years ago.
Absolutely. And I've got to brag about both of you because we're picky. We bought a nice home in Plano, and we had been looking forever for something to put on the wall, and we found a piece in one of your stores that just blew us away, and everybody who comes into the house is instantly starstruck by what you guys designed. We're going to show a little video of some of your products and merchandise and design that you bring in. How do you go about finding these pieces?
It's truly a treasure hunt. Every day, 365 days a year. Ken and I just recently came back from the Yucatan, where we visited a 1,200-year-old Mayan pyramid. And it was so fascinating to see the craftsmen and the craftswomen who literally sit outside of the grounds, and they make everything from pottery, they hand paint themselves. One of my favorite things that we were able to bring back to the store were agate hearts. So they're small hearts that they literally carve and polish. And so I like to think they bring good energy. So we actually snuck some back on the airplane.
No kidding. Okay, talking about great energy, Ken, Home on Bishop. Tell us the origin of the name.
So the name came from, when Cody came to me years ago, we're going into our 10th year, and he said he wanted to open a retail store, and based on really lifestyle pieces that were unique and different. And so we talked about what would we name the store. And I thought home would be the perfect, and we're on Bishop Avenue. So home on Bishop was really the only name that we really decided this is it. This is a home run with the name. And we named it that because we wanted it to feel like you're walking into our home. And I think we've accomplished that. You walk in and we've got a chair and a couch that's for sale. So everything in the store is for sale. But it really feels like you're coming into our home. And we believe in that experience, when you come into the home and with the jewelry, and in the back we have the clothing. So it's almost like, Jeff, come and see my closet. I want to show you my new finds and some one-of-a-kind pieces. And we kind of take you almost like you're coming into our home, which is, we spend more time there than anywhere. So it really is like our home, and we want that to be the feeling and the experience that you get when you walk in the doors.
And Ken, when you find pieces, it's not like you can find this on every street corner. These are very unique, aren't they?
For one, if it's clothing, we only do 6 pieces. Mm-hmm. So it brings the energy into our stores that people say, okay, I like it. And I say, if you like it, you better buy it, because it's not going to be here later.
And that's what I like. We've been to your stores many times, and it's never the same thing twice. Okay, Ken, we do have a very special guest in the studio. Would you introduce us to our special guest?
Happily. This is Miss Dina Bradshaw, who's actually Cody's mother, but she's my adopted mother. She's my Texas mom. That's what I like to call her. So talking about fall and fashion trends, and really our private label, 5 years ago we started Bishop Street Apparel, which is our private label that we have made. Most everything is in Los Angeles. It's all domestic, fabrics made in the U.S. And one piece that really kind of put us on the map is this. We call it the 1801. It's available in probably 14 or 15 colors. We have it in the store. Dina owns every single color. Trust me. Cody makes sure that she has every single color in her wardrobe. So we love this. It's just easy. It's higher in the front, lower in the back. So it covers up everything in the mid. It covers up the behind, which we love. Our girls love that. Another piece, and another big trend of the season, is animal. Animal never, ever goes out. I really almost hate to call it a trend because it's such a classic and a basic. So this is our little shawl vest, and this is the other piece that we do that is, it's just phenomenal. The top retails at $52, which is great. The jacket is $56. So we love it this way, or you can tie it here, which is really lovely. I love that. Some big trends for the season are chunky chains. Chunky chains are really our favorite. This is inspired by Iris Apfel, which everybody knows. She just turned 100 years old this year. She is fantastic. We love her. And this, you get the look without the weight, which is really pretty incredible. You get this chunky jewelry, this chunky look. Doesn't that feel great? And I'm going to show you one more thing that we love to do with this little piece here. So if you take it completely off, this is made from a gauze. So it's lightweight, and this is year-round. I do these year-round as well. So that's another big trend of the season is timeless and seasonless. This also works as a scarf. So we love it there as well under a jacket or a coat, and I think it's just really cool. And animal. Animal is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. We're going to be talking about animal a lot, and that I think is a good segue back to you guys.
Absolutely. And Cody, I think your mom missed her calling. She should have been a supermodel.
You can't get a better model than her.
All right. So you made the point before the show that often women's fashions will inspire design.
Absolutely. You know what happens every year, season after season? It's in the industry, it's kind of known that women's ready-to-wear is about a year to a year and a half ahead of home. So one of the things that we did here, I love that we're able to transition, but Ken and I are cutting that year out. So some things that we do that are really a lot of fun, as Ken said, animal never ever goes out of style. So, and again, going back to hand and texture, so I think, give this a feel.
Oh my God. That's so soft.
Yeah, so when the pandemic first started, right, people wanted to be nestled and at home and comfortable. So that's where this stuff comes into play. And I believe that there's no better artist or craftsman than God. So, these little things. So I love these agate bookends.
Yes.
And you just put any book in front of it, and you've created a piece of art that God gave us. Also, another thing that's a huge trend right now and has kind of a global ethnic vibe are succulents. So succulents are good in every environment. And for me, I'm not the best with keeping a plant alive. So succulents are quite easy. And again, so we just did a piece of natural driftwood with Moroccan geode on it.
And your business is exploding right now because so many people were at home kind of looking at the wall, looking at the furniture,
Yes.
and they're coming to you for help.
Yeah, you know, one of the blessings in all of this has been Ken and I had to regroup, turn around quickly, because for 10 years, our jewelry and clothing were the driving forces behind our stores. So when you have a year and a half with women not getting dressed up and going out, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So actually, in the middle of the pandemic, we were fortunate enough to be able to open a furniture store. And with all of our stores, from jewelry, clothing, chandeliers to sofas, one thing that we really pride ourselves on is affordability. We don't want stores where people can come in and be uncomfortable and say, oh, I like that. I don't want aspiration pieces. I want you to be able to like it and buy it.
Absolutely. And joining us back is Ken and Cody's mom. And we're not in sweatpants anymore. It's not the height of the pandemic.
No.
We're out and about. And what do we have now?
So I'm glad you mentioned that, Jeff. The sweatpants, so we got used to that. And the big trend of the season is comfort. That is something that there's a desire and actually a demand for after being home and being comfortable. I think we want that going forward. I was talking to one of our customers the other day and I asked her, what do you love most about our clothing? And she said, if I never have to button another button or zip another zipper, I would be the happiest person on earth. And we accomplished that. So everything we do, you just pull on. The pant that she's wearing is of stretched velvet, and it really is. It's like a jogging pant, but it's made to be out in public. So really comfortability, comfort and mobility is really what we're looking for now. This top is one of our favorites. It's designed by a friend of ours, Adesh Patel. It's APNY, and he does all of our prints. They're vibrant, they're pretty. Another big trend is seasonless, something that you can wear right through the year, not something that's so specific to one season. So I love this equally with a dark pant or velvet as I do with a white jean. It's the perfect piece to go with the white jean. So he is a digital artist, graduated NYU. His father and uncle own the mills in India where it's produced, and it's all eco-friendly. They recycle the water from the dyes that they use. So I love that about them too. So jewelry, big trend in jewelry is shiny gold. And we love this. This is a vendor that Cody's been wanting to bring in the store for years. And it's a good price point. It's absolutely stunning. It's 24 karat gold over copper. I love the feel of this. So all of these pieces layer. Another trend that we've seen before and that we're seeing going forward is all this layering and lariats. Lariat is another big trend of the season. So this just layers around. These little cabochon pieces are actually glass. They're colored glass, onyx glass, over mother of pearl. So it gives it that sort of iridescent look. And then layering. Give me your right hand. And we're going to layer. So it's all about layering up your pieces. So remember that old adage, you stand in the mirror and you take one piece off from the 90s? We don't do that anymore. You stand in front of the mirror and you layer more on. It's all about layering all of those pieces. Charms. Charms is another really big trend of the season. So we kind of mixed it here. This is one piece, but two necklaces, which I think is pretty cool. So the charm here is the lock. So all of your chains work together. Your gold is really popular here. And all of these cool charms, which are just great. The key and the lock layered together is really cool. So we're seeing a lot of that in the industry right now. And we try not to follow trends so closely, but this one is so hot. And we're usually ahead of the trend, which is really interesting. We love that. And so those are some of the trends that I'm loving for fall and forward. Isn't that pretty? And you look beautiful in it. Thank you for being our model today.
Outstanding. And Cody, I don't know what we have to pay your mom for her services today, but...
Well, I can tell you, she's priceless and expensive. So I would warn you for that.
Now, you just got back from Africa. Tell us about the trip.
Yeah, Africa circles back to what I was saying earlier about our travels. And I bought all these things that it's been a few months now, and I'm still waiting on customs to get them here. So it's going to make it even all the more joyful when we get them. But in the trend, in home accessories, things that are ethnic and global are really setting a tone for home accessories.
You guys are featured in the media all the time. We have a nice article that came from Voyage Dallas that we want to put on the screen. It's nice to educate people because I think people just don't understand what's out there. Isn't it? Right?
Yeah, and Ken and I say this in our stores every single day, be it jewelry, clothing, or a sofa. If you buy what you love, it will authentically work together.
That's really
Buy what
true.
you love, and it will always work together.
That's so true. And that carries over to ready to wear and clothing as with the home. You know it when you see it, just like when Jeff, you walked into the gallery and you knew exactly that moment, that was the piece that was perfect for you. So I think a big takeaway is give yourself permission to buy what you love and don't really think, is it going to work here? Is it going to work there? If you love it, that energy carries over into your home and your clothing, and it all kind of works together. So give yourself permission to just buy what you love. We don't replenish anything, so it's there one day and it's not there the next. So you got to jump on it, and that's what makes it so exciting for us and actually exciting for the customer as well.
Talk about what it's like to work with customers, because you're not necessarily doing an overhaul. Like if you come into their home to add some flair, it's not like you're doing a complete sweep of the place and throwing everything out. Right?
No, I think that's really important, and you're right about that. So people, their home, their domain, this is where they're comfortable, this is where they feel safe. So when people have Ken and I over to, I offer more sets of eyes. The last thing that people want to hear is, that's no good, that's no good. So right off the bat, we focus on what they have, that we love, that they love, and then we build around it. Because at the end of the day, this is someone's home. It's not just a project to us. They need to live there and they need to be comfortable.
And Ken, when you're consulting with people on fashion, is it a complete overhaul? I mean, are they going from, a completely lame outfit to overnight they're suddenly walking the catwalk, or what's it like to work with you?
But we hope they're walking. That's the end goal. That's the end goal. So it's never a complete overhaul. I think that everyone has their style. Sometimes you need to just push them into what really works best for them, and then they get it, and then they kind of work forward with that. So as before, as I said, I think I like when a woman shines. You can always tell when they're comfortable in their clothing. Sometimes it's not a matter of how it looks, but how they feel. You look fantastic if you feel fantastic. So it really is about that relationship. So it's never a complete overhaul. We like to go into someone's closet and they've got their favorite white jeans or their favorite black jeans and their favorite shoe. And so we kind of work with what they have. And I think that's what makes it so individual to that person, instead of, anybody can walk into a store and buy anything off of a rack. But when you really make it work for them, then they really get it and they shine, and you can see that. And that's what makes us happy.
We only have about a minute left, so we're going to kind of sum things up with, for the viewer who's out there who says, okay, you've got me interested. I probably should approach them about using their services. What would you say to make them comfortable saying, just call us? Well,
That's it. Just call us. Ken and I are small town guys, and we like to just get out there. I say it often, it's smoke and mirrors, all this fanciness. We are loving to get in your house and work with you and make you feel comfortable.
Outstanding. You now have 4 locations. We're going to put up on the map so they can see where you are. Are the locations all in Bishop Arts?
Yeah, they're actually all 4 stores are within 1 block of each other.
Wow.
The difference is we try to create a very different vibe in each store. One plays Christian music, one plays something more soothing, and the hope and the goal is that the customer that comes to the neighborhood doesn't realize that all 4 stores are owned by the same 2 guys.
All right, Ken, we'll give you the final word. Do you feel like a therapist sometimes? Because when you're working with somebody, sometimes they're clinging to a piece of furniture or a fabric that they've used since 1956.
Yes, exactly. We come across that a lot. Yes, we do feel like it's a therapist, like we're being a therapist. But, it's so rewarding at the end of the day. We really put our heart and soul into this. Shopping brick and mortar is so important. And I think people are realizing that again. After the pandemic, I think we've gone the online way, and there's room for both. I think that there's room for both. But I think the brick and mortar is really so important to get that experience and really walk into the stores. And sometimes there's less shopping and more sitting on the couch talking about other things in the world. And it really is kind of nice. And our customers have become friends, like you and Victoria. We go way back, and Victoria is one of my favorite. Her style is absolutely on point all the time. I'm her biggest fan. I think she's just wonderful. And you don't give yourself enough credit.
Well,
You've got great style.
You're very kind. You're very kind. I've thoroughly enjoyed this segment. You won me some brownie points with my wife, and that's always a good thing.
Nice.
So we're going to end with a couple of websites. The first one is shopbishoparts.com, and then the second website is houseonbishop.com, and it's spelled
HOUSS. Houseonbishop.com.
Outstanding. Ken and Cody, thank you so much. And Cody's mom.
And Cody's one, yeah.
The best model ever.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Always.
Thanks for having us.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.